All right, all right. So we're going to be going over some basic rigging. I'm not going to get too crazy in depth with this, but this should give you at least a foundational idea on the process. Now, what I have here in Blender loaded up is technically already rigged. It's got some weight painting issues, so um, there's going to be a couple spots that I'm going to wipe out the rigging I have, and I'll redo it. So that's where you'll get to see um, the process. So rigging's pretty straightforward. Uh, aside from your model, I'm not going to get into how to use Blender, on how to get your model to be the right size and shape. That's a whole nother mess. I'm going to go ahead and start this and assume that you can at least move things around, change scale, and manipulate the 3D models to at least fit on the Reforger body. Um, but aside from your model prepped and ready to go, what you will need is an armature. And this is the sample armature, which if you notice, I'm just reusing some of the vanilla colliders. Um, these are the same colliders that the character comes with. If you go to look at the base character body in Infusion, I have just gotten rid of ones that I don't need and kept ones that I do. I like doing it this way because it's simple and consistent across my projects. And I mean, you're kind of covering exactly the collider size. Like if I have armor on my arm, my upper arm, and I want it to cover my upper arm, this collider is gonna cover the entirety of the vanilla arm collider. So that's why I like doing this. Now, question on where you get this from. That's pretty easy. So we'll come over here to Google. We're gonna type in something. It is, what is it? Trying to remember. I think if you just type in ArmA Reforger sample, like I've already Googled this a few times, it'll bring you to this GitHub for Bohemia Interactive. Open this up, and this is basically all the sample mods that they've put up on the workshop um, as project folders that you can get into. So if you're making cars, you can get a sample car from here, so that you don't have to start from scratch. All that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is new helmet or something like that. Maybe new character. Yeah, okay. So you got the sample character and headgear helmet sample. So if you're trying to do helmets, you'll want this. Looks like it's not right here. So that's going to be back in sample character, sorry. So you'll have your character template FBX. This is the body. And then there's the head template FBX. What I like doing is downloading both of them. So get your head template, and get your character template. Is it going to download? Nope, download it twice. Damn. All right, so I'm going to create a new collection here. This is a little trick I like doing because I tend to work on more than one thing at a time, and I don't want to have to do things over and over again because seconds make minutes. So what I'll do is I'll bring in the body. Now, you don't need any of these wounds or LODs, basically any of this. So you can click on that first mesh, scroll all the way down to here, and shift click, delete all of those. Actually, you can't do that. So grab LOD 1 through 4. Bear with me. So what we're going to do, shift click them all, and then we're going to control click all the LOD zeros. We don't need anything that says wound. So torso 0, unclick that. Leg, leg, hand, hand, groin, foot, foot, calf lower, calf lower, calf right, calf left, arm upper, arm upper. This is tedious, but you do this once and you'll never have to do it again. So then we have all those unselected, we can just delete them, right? And for now, let's hide these colliders. We actually don't even need the colliders for what I am showing you to do. So we'll delete the colliders too. So then we have all of these LOD, so level of detail zeros. This is your main, this is the main model for the character body. I'm going to select all of these and I'm going to join them. So now I have one model for the entire body, right? So outside of this collection, I'm going to import. We're going to import the head template. We're going to right click, parent, clear parent, keep information. Going to delete the armature. And we're going to delete all these memory points. We don't need them. And we want the head and the neck. We'll join those. Bumbleclart. Okay. The rest of this can go. So we'll delete all that. So let's unhide this collection, this. We can now parent with armature deform, and then we can join this. I like clearing all of the materials so that it's just one color. But this is now kind of a universal weight paint rig. So we can use this for anything. So you'd save this and just throw it in your folder that you put all your development stuff into. And anytime you want to rig something, you import this, size your clothing to it, and then we can use it for rigging. And I'll show you that in just a second. So as you can see, it is facing the wrong way. For some reason, they have their samples facing the wrong way. You pretty much always want everything facing the Y positive axis. So what we'll do is we're going to unhide all this. We're going to click A, R, rotate on the Z axis by 180. Now you would save it. Can hide the armature because it's just visually messy. Bring our armor in. And you can see I've already got this. It's all set up, placed where it needs to be, and it's good to go. Like I said, I've already got this in game. There's just some issues with the weight painting I'm not super happy with. The legs and arms were all good. Same with the belt. So we're going to hide those. The neck, I already have weighted, and I'm happy with, so I'm going to hide those. The torso is the part that I'm not happy with. I did some quick testing, and I just weighted it to spine 5, and that's good for getting it in game and just getting that like preliminary. Let's see how it looks in. But whenever the guy moves his shoulders or aims his weapon, the uniform underneath comes and clips out the back. That is because the uniform is moving with like the shoulder and arm bones, but the armor is not. So if we go into weight paint mode here, you see it's entirely red. We come over to data, all it has is spine 5. So what we're going to do, so we're going to clear that. So now it no longer has any vertex data and is no longer weighted to anything. We're going to click our template body, and we're going to shift click our armor or your clothing, whether you're making a bulletproof vest, a t-shirt, a helmet, anything like that. And helmets are easy, and I'll get to that in a second. Once you have the body clicked, shift click your vest, come to weight paint mode, weights, transfer weights, open this up, and you want to change your source to by name, and then give that a click. And if you see here, it now has a vertex group for every single bone. Now we don't need all these, not even close to all of these. And there's going to be some cleanup because right now it's going to be weighted to the belly. So this armor is going to expand and contract as the character breathes. And I don't know what kind of metallic body armor you guys are used to. I've never seen body armor contract with your breathing. So we're going to remove that. So we'll come through here and we'll kind of just look. So yeah, we don't need hips. So spine 1, we can probably get away without spine 1 because it's kind of like your lower belly right here. I think spine 2, yeah. So it's going to be like spine 3, 4, and 5. Is going to be the primary ones that we are going to be messing with. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to lock these for later. Pectorals, we're going to need those. Shoulder, yep. Now, your arm should not be interfering with any of this. So that's going to get left unlocked. Left shoulder, we're going to want that. And like I said, stomach. See right now, because these are weighted, as your character breathes, this armor would expand and contract. And we don't need that. Now, obviously, none of these toes and feet, none of that matters. Hands, pretty much anything that shouldn't interact with this, leave it unlocked. Neck. Now, you'd think, yeah, I mean, that's lined up with the neck. Maybe the neck should interact with that. But if this is supposed to be a stiff piece of material, when your guy looks down or left and right, this is going to stretch with his head. So we don't want that. Head. Head is for helmets. This has no business being weighted to head. So we're going to leave that alone. Now I already know none of these other bones are needed for what I'm doing. So I'm going to click here and we're going to delete all unlocked. So now we're back down only the ones we want. And now you could probably export this, and depending on the geometry of your model, if it's not super complicated, it'd probably work out for you. But we're going to come in here and we're going to do some manual painting. So spine 3, we're going to go ahead and just do this very bottom. Now, depending on what version of Blender you have, you might not be able to do exactly what I'm doing right here. If not, just come in here and paint it manually. I use an outdated version of Blender just because I like it. Don't be like me. Use the one that BI recommends. See, I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to use this little trick right here. I'm going to bring it down to weight of 0. And you see the green and yellow zones, they overlap each other, but the reds don't. So red is like 100% influenced by the bone. And the lighter it gets closer to like this dark blue, the less influenced it is. In all reality, this whole little armor plate right here should probably not have any flex to it, so we'll weight it all to spine 4. So spine 4 kind of is like your lower sternum area, and spine 5 is kind of your upper rib cage chest. Excuse me. Another way you can weight paint, come into edit mode, and you can select the entirety of a mesh here, and click on spine 4, assign. It'll assign it to everything you have highlighted. And then come through here and remove spine 3 from the selected area. So if we come back into weight paint, see it no longer has spine 3, but it's maxed out spine 4. So if you don't want to sit here and meticulously color in, that's an option for you. Spine 5. So I'm going to go ahead and say these are probably good. I'm going to give spine 5 a bit more influence on this region right here. Come down to about right here. Now, I'm sure there's an easier way to do what I'm doing. I'm sure there's a better way to do what I'm doing. This is just how I know how to do it. And it'll get you there. This is by no means an exhaustive, definitive, best way of doing something. See, so I'm going to do something like that. And I definitely want kind of the entirety of that on 5. So let's see. You don't really want the reds overlapping, and you don't want them super close. So if they're super close to each other, and say like you crouch or bend over, if it's like the red for spine 5 and the red for spine 4 are right up against each other, when you bend over, it'll like hard bend at that point where the two red zones come together. You don't really want that. So you want some gap between the two red. That way, whenever that area bends, it's more of a gradual bend from spine 4 to 5 instead of a sharp area of influence. And now for more control and making this easier, I'm going to come in here and just select this stuff to make it easier on me. So we'll assign. And I may come back in and adjust this a little bit. So I think this is probably going to give us some problems, but that's okay. So I'm going to come back in. If you don't know how to rig something to an armature, so once you have it weight painted, go ahead and select the item, shift click your armature, parent, armature deform, and you should be good. So we're going to go ahead and export this, but let me first get this open. We're going to file, export, file, export, FBX. You're going to find your armor. This is the infusion. So that folder we're looking at is this one right here. You don't have to do this. If you want to export into another file on your desktop and then manually move it into Infusion, that's all cool. That's the way I do it. So we're going to go Visual Objects. We're going to shift click Camera and Lamp, Custom Properties down here under Armature. We're going to remove Add Leaf Bones. Once we have this set up right here, if you want to take a screenshot of that, we're going to Export Settings and come over to Infusion. Now, obviously, it disappeared on us, right? All the other parts, because they're just not there. Bones, we're all there. Yours, if this is a fresh asset, it's not going to say anything right here for the most part. You'll come over here to Import Settings. You're going to check Export Skinning. You're going to check Export Scene Hierarchy. And then you'll scroll down here and you'll assign colliders their collider materials, and then you'll hit Re-import Resources. And then you will have your object. And you can sit here and kind of play with the bones a little bit and see how everything moves. Get right here. So I like that. The hard plate kind of stays where it's supposed to be, but the softer kind of Kevlar cloth material, padded material underneath moves. That looks good. Spine 5. Not a huge fan of that. So, you know, it might look fine once we're in game. But we'll see. The back, definitely not super fond of that. So to be honest, probably going to make this entire upper part of the armor spine 5. Except for where the shoulders and pecs go. So pectoral. Really, the pecs probably don't even need to be here. I think it's probably shoulders that were what was needed. Because this is the area which that's causing some weirdness. But we'll go ahead and take a look. I'll already tell you, not happy with it. We'll come back into Blender and touch it up some more. This is going to be the nature of working on clothing assets. Unless it's something small that's only getting put on one bone, you're gonna have to refine it. You'll eventually get a bit of an eye for what looks good. Now, I will say, it already immediately looks better than it was. There's obviously some clipping right there on the front. So we need to give the shoulder straps a bit more influence with the shoulder bone. And then those buckles are doing some weird stuff. Get out of here. But really, the rest of it isn't that bad. And as you can see, the clothing I have on, that needs to be reworked as well. There's some weight paint issues there. But I'm not hating the way this is moving. I don't think it looks too terrible. It's kind of hard to see with the camera angles. Yeah, there is some weird deformation going on. But I don't think there's a whole lot there that can be done. Let me get this under outfit out of the way so we can kind of see what's going on a little bit better. Yeah, the shoulder straps are just, the weight painting on them isn't great. We're going to need to come back in on that. Yep, so let's give that a revisit and revise it a little bit. So I'm going to just completely remove the pectorals. We're kind of going to just give this more influence. So we'll just start with a baseline of this being entirely spine 5. We're going to remove the other spine's influence. So we can see shoulders. I'm going to remove some of this influence here. Kind of cut this down just ever so slightly. None of this on the neck needs to be there. Yeah, you know what? We're just going to draw this on manually. Definitely want to give this a full 100%. So it's come down to like 75. It's a bit too much. All right. So we're going to come in here and do the same, but opposite shape. So I still want spine 5 to have some influence here. So I think that might be good. So object. I don't want any of this to have spine 5 influence. So we'll select all of that. We're going to remove. Go back into weight paint. So spine 3's got the bottom, spine 4's got top. And that looks pretty good. I like that. So let's go ahead and give this a try. I'm fairly confident on the shoulder parts, but we'll see. But it's all part of the game. Iterations, making small changes, and giving a test. Okay, so I made a mistake. Really easy mistake. If you're screaming at me, where's the armature? Then you caught my mistake. So let's put that back in. Got our bones back. So I already know that clothing needs to be reworked. Ah, see, it's causing some ugly. Okay. So we are going to need to give the little cummerbund area some spine 5 influence, because you see it's pulling it up out of the armor. And I assume that it's doing some similar stuff up front. Yeah. I'm just going to move away from the shoulders. We'll have the 3 spines. Um, I think what I'm going to do is address that clipping on the clothing end. Oop, I almost made that mistake again. We'll see. We'll see how this looks without the shoulders. If I need to add them back, I'll add them back. Yeah, see, adding that little strip of spine 5 at the top kind of stopped most of the clipping. Looks like it needs to come back. Come down a little further, maybe. To at least the bottom of the hard cummerbund. That shoulder's really clipping. So I'm gonna have to do shoulders. Yep. So I'm going to actually start over. We're going to retransfer these weights. I want to see just on a fresh, straight transfer how we look. Yeah, definitely want to remove any influenced arms, neck, and head have. See how that neck piece is stretching. But generally, the rest of it looks kind of fine. The breathing I'm not a super fan of, so we'll fix that. How's the rigging going? We're getting there. Tweaking and tweaking. Again, we're going to delete all unlocked. Going to leave most of this alone. Yeah, so arm was stretching right here pretty bad. Since we got rid of arm, that should go away. The rest of this is probably going to be fine. So let's go ahead and give this another test. This is basically just a straight transfer of weights. I haven't repainted any of this on this iteration. Just kind of getting rid of bones we don't necessarily need. So yeah, the edges are a lot less jagged now because of the stretching. Shoulders still kind of influencing it along the back side there. Probably get rid of some of that. But we're looking a lot better on the front. Let's replace the weapon. Yeah. That clip's getting all kinds of smashed, but I'm not entirely sure we're going to get rid of that. Some pretty nasty stretching when in that position. Okay. I've still got people DMing me about Fallout mods. Like, dude, those things have been dead and gone for damn near a year now. They ain't coming back. Okay, so what is this orange color? It's a little more. Yeah. Now, if they did come back, I'd develop them. My main interests. I'm a Bethesda brand ambassador. I've got other Fallout projects in the work. So, I mean, it is something that I love. Nothing on the horizon saying that they're coming back. I am getting a phone call. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, I'm back. Had a little work phone call that I to take. Um, man, I think I'm gonna clear this on these shoulders and start over. Oh, oops. Alrighty. Alrighty. I'm gonna test out that layout on just this one shoulder, and if it works, we'll do the same thing on the other one. Yeah, man, that's just causing some weird shit. Um, but risk of making the stream too much longer. I think that kind of covers the general theory on what we're doing here. Um, just kind of got to play with it until you get the right amount of deformation that you're looking for. So with that, I think we're going to call this about good. I've got a few other things I need to get to today, so I will keep chipping away at this a little later on. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out on our Discord. Alrighty, boys. Those of you who stopped by and watched, thank you. We will see you on the next one.